Charo was asking me yesterday about the differences between his older iPhone and potentially an Android phone, specifically in relation to photo output, like the camera stuff. And he followed up with a question that he thought would be a good topic for today. How difficult, he asks, is it to extricate oneself from a brand ecosystem and migrate to another? Classic example, he notes he's been using Apple products exclusively for several generations. Is it overwhelmingly painful to migrate to a Samsung, Google, Android phone? Yes and no. How great is your pain? And I've said this for years. Pain is a great motivator. Like, if you're bored, I don't think that's a good reason to switch ecosystems. If you are finding that what it is you're trying to do isn't working as well as you believe it could work, and you've seen other people do things that you might want to do, then you may start considering what you're feeling, your pain, this inner feeling that you might have that something just isn't working for you. And they're devices, they are personal devices. They are meant to conform around your needs, not the other way around. And even if you've lasted generations and you've held on to devices perhaps as long as you've held on to devices, if you're finding yourself hitting walls, it may be worth looking elsewhere. But there will be pain involved no matter what. How much pain are you experiencing today versus how much pain will you experience in transitioning? Now, I would say by and large, depending on where you do your thing, if you live in the cloud, that transition is not as difficult as people have suggested it is. It really isn't. Now, that's not to say that you won't experience hiccups because you're moving from one ecosystem to a completely different one. And heck, I would say that, you may even have hiccups moving from, a Google Pixel to a Samsung device. And those are both, running the Android operating system, that platform. Anytime you're switching, anytime you're migrating, you may lose data. You may have grown accustomed to a certain idiosyncrasies of a device that aren't on a new one. The shortcomings that you coped with may not exist, but new shortcomings exist. You may think that, it's going to be better on the other side, but it might not be. So my suggestion is you tread with caution, but only when you feel strongly enough in that decision. If you're feeling kind of iffy on making that leap, then I would caution you against it, because ultimately, you have to make that decision and you have to live with that decision. If you have an opportunity, however, to try something for a period of time before making that switch, you will ultimately know, or at least know better, whether or not that move is going to be satisfactory for you, because it's going to be different for everybody. And I'm someone who has made switches, not constantly. It's not something that I relish doing. But all the more reason why, when I, on a daily basis, use Android, iOS, Windows, Mac OS, I'm everywhere. And I have to, because the tools on each particular platform work a certain way. So I get used to the shortcomings and I get used to the benefits of any particular platform. But taking your stuff and moving it elsewhere, not as painful as you'd think. I really don't believe so. There are some snags depending on what you use, but don't be frightened. Do your homework. If you have a chance, get a hold of a device before making the switch, or get a device and then switch, but hold on to the old one for the time being, because then you could always change your mind. I think 20 days, right? 20 days, you'll know one way or another whether you're going to be good to go with a new platform or not, no matter which way you're switching.